Thank you. It's straightforward. No rulemaking until there is a determination, no conflicts of interest based upon 7 years of tax returns. We've had this discussion sort of in the prior amendment by Mr. Capuano. It is important that we know, and we had a long conversation about the fiduciary duty rule. And my friends on the Republican side of the aisle said there's no question, we always want to know what is in the best interests of the customer. The question was whether it should be the Department of Labor or the SEC that managed that particular issue. Well, we need to know that the President is operating in the best interests of the citizens of America. And until we know the different business interests that he has that may be shown in his tax returns, we're not going to know whether the executive branch, led by the President of the United States, is operating in a way that is in the best interests of the citizens of America. And I know Mr. Trott, in particular, said, well, the people knew on November 8th that the President had yet to turn over his tax returns. Well, that's not any basis for determining whether or not there's a conflict of interest as to whether decisions are made in the best interests of all of us Americans. And so it's a simple amendment. It's one that is straightforward. And I think it is something that should be added to the Chairman's Choice Act. It will make the bill better than it is right now. And just as an aside to my friend from Arkansas, and another of the Republican members talked about the fact that there aren't very many banks being formed today, and we're losing some banks or other financial institutions. I would suggest that it has nothing to do with Dodd-Frank, that in fact it has to do more with branch banking, which was as a result of part of a repeal of the Glass-Steagall legislation. And that branch banking is something that has led to efficiency in the banking world, and you don't have nearly as many standalone banks as a result of having branch banking. And so I would suggest to my friends that they take a look at that if in fact they're worried that there aren't enough new banks being formed or old banks are merging into other institutions. And with that, Mr. Chair, I certainly do move my amendment, and I will yield back.